I didn't break the rules to be brave. I broke them because some lives only open after hours. My name is Laurel Pike. 7 years ago, I unlocked a public pool at midnight, against policy, to teach a girl how to float without fear. Her name was Juniper Shaw. Last spring, the curriculum she built, born from those secret lessons, rolled out across the country to train neighbors to rescue neighbors when the rivers climbed the streets. But back then, it was just a locked gate. One shivering kid and the sound water makes when it waits. I was the evening lifeguard at Harborview Community Pool, and the night custodian who taped signs straight and counted wet footprints to calm my head. People thought my flaw was caution. It was worse. I was faithful to rules because I had once lost my brother to a flood, and I had learned to worship anything that promised order. On my lanyard hung a blue enamel whistle chipped at the edge, and in my back pocket, a water-softened index card I carried everywhere. 5 words on it in smudged marker. Float first. Breathe, then move. A storm week had left our town smelling like damp sheetrock. On Tuesday, a kid in an oversized hoodie slipped in at closing. "Wait, are you Laurel?" she asked. "Depends," I said. "Are you here to swim or make me mop twice?" "Neither," she said. "I'm here to not drown." She pushed back her sleeve to show a rubber band twisted 3 times on her wrist. "A reminder," she said. "I pull it when I panic." "Name?" "Juniper," she said. "June, if that's easier." She didn't ask for money. She asked for time and the kind of quiet you only get when the clock has stopped for everyone else. Teaching after hours was a fireable offense. I knew because I had written the sign. But I also knew this. Some lessons are louder at night. The manager's office light clicked off. Keys weighed my hand. The rule in my chest and the scar in my heart had a small argument. I turned the key. Chlorine rose like a memory. The pool at midnight is a listening creature. It gives back only what you give it. Breath, fear, hope. Everything echoes. "Shoes off," I said. "We start with standing still." "I can't float," she said. "Floating isn't magic," I said. "It's permission." I showed her the index card. Float first. Breathe, then move. She touched it like it might tear. We sat on the tile and practiced breathing without water until her shoulders stopped trying to live in her ears. Then, the water. June clutched the gutter until her knuckles went bone white. The rubber band kissed her wrist. "On my count," I said. "I'm right here. You can hold the card." She held the card. She let her ears go under. Just ears, so the world softened. "Water is loud when you fear it," I said. "It hushes when it trusts you." She tried to float. She sank. She coughed, eyes fierce with humiliation. We started over and over. The janitor clock in the hallway coughed the minutes out. The pool lights made coins on the ceiling. At 1:07 a.m., she floated. Awkward miracle, belly to the moon, rubber band shining. She didn't smile. She exhaled like someone opening a stubborn window. "Again," she said. So we did, night after night that week, after hours. I risked my job, and she risked the story she'd carried. That water only takes. I gave instruction. She gave effort. I gave a whistle. She gave back a steady look that said, "Keep the gate." On Friday, she added something I didn't teach. "If I'm saving someone," she said, "what do I do first?" I tapped the card. "Make them float, make you breathe. Then move," she whispered. And the pool seemed to nod. Before she left, I unclipped the chipped blue whistle and put it in her palm. "This is not a gift," I said. "It's a loan with interest. I'll collect by hearing what you do with it." She looped it beside the rubber band. "Then I better do something you can't ignore," she said. I locked the gate and walked home in the cold, knowing I might have traded a job for the right kind of trouble. Summer came like a gentle apology. June joined our morning volunteer crew, stacking kickboards, coaxing little kids to blow bubbles, failing openly, and then laughing like failure was just a step. She took notes in a spiral notebook with the whistle imprinting circles in the paper. She drew a stick figure curriculum on the back of old flyers. 3 steps, 3 words. Float, breathe, move. She wasn't gifted. She was trained by stubbornness. She swallowed water. She learned to tuck, to scull, to roll, to talk someone calm with her own voice shaking. She stayed late to scrub tiles because clean places keep promises. She added a 4th word in pencil, then erased it, then added it again. Together. Because rescues are team sports. she said. Because rivers bring neighbors, I said. Storm season returned like a teacher with the same hard lesson. A creek jumped its banks, then a second, then three. We turned our pool into a gear room. June taped her spiral-bound drafts to the wall. Neon poster board that said, "Cold water steals breath. We take it back." She taught anchors with towels, throws with garden hoses, reach don't rush with broom handles, and how to say people's names in a flood so they remember they have one. My manager pulled me aside. "Did you unlock this place after hours in the spring?" I told the truth. She sighed, the sound of paperwork meeting consequence. "You risked your position," she said. "I risked losing more," I said. She looked at the busy gym, the wet footprints, the giant poster that said, "Float first. Breathe. Then move. Finish the season," she said. "Then we'll reassess." June applied to a state emergency training grant and got a polite no. She applied again, using plain words, not acronyms, and added a photo of a child holding a kickboard like a shield. "People don't care about memos," she said. "They care about faces." This time, she got a tiny yes. 2 counties, 6 Saturdays, 10 borrowed cones. She built modules from what we had. Bathtub drills for apartment kids, balcony throws for high-rises, cul-de-sac chain practice with old garden hoses. She tested scripts with non-swimmers, used bilingual cue cards, and let grandparents teach because grandchildren listen hardest to the voice that tucks them in. We argued as equals. I told her to remove a too heroic scenario. She told me to add a quiet one. Self-rescue the rescuer. Because fear is heavy, she said. And heavy people sink, I said. We added a page called Panic Weighs 11 Pounds. Hand it to the air. Her 4th word, together, stayed. The nights I most believed in her were not the nights she won. They were the nights she returned to the pool alone. I'd find the lights on low and June on the bottom step, eyes closed, practicing listening underwater, counting heartbeats as if timing could teach mercy. When she surfaced, she'd touch the rubber band, check the whistle, and write one more line. Look for the quiet person. They're the one not breathing. The work spread the way good rumors do. By mouth, by porch, by WhatsApp group where cousins warn cousins. A church basement. A firehouse bay. A school gym with a leaky roof that whispered whenever it rained. Then she left for state training school, then for a regional task force. We texted less, the way people do when purpose eats their hours. I kept the index card in my pocket until the ink became memory more than letters. 7 years from that first midnight, our city museum hosted the launch of a national flood rescue curriculum. It had a simple name: Float, Breathe, Move, Together. Under it, a tiny symbol. A blue whistle with a chipped edge. I showed up early. A guard scanned my pass and frowned. "This is for tomorrow's teacher workshop," she said. "I read the email wrong," I admitted. "I'll sit in the lobby and listen through the wall." "Can't let you do that," she said, kind but firm. The small knot tightened. Maybe my part of the story was supposed to stay after hours. I was turning to leave when a janitor pushing a cart stopped, eyes on my lanyard. "That chip," he said, pointing to my empty clip. "I used to have a whistle just like that." I held up the water-softened index card. He read the 5 words and smiled like he was seeing a friend. "Wait here," he said. 2 minutes later, a door cracked. A woman in a headset leaned out. "Ms. Pike, this way." Backstage smelled like taped cables and fresh paint. Posters leaned against crates. A map of rivers glowed on a screen. And there, as if she had never been anything but a person you always knew, stood Juniper. She looked different only in the way a river looks different after it learns the shape of its banks. Stronger. The rubber band was still on her wrist, braided now into a neat loop. The blue whistle hung beside it. "Hey, after hours," she said, grinning with her eyes first. "Hey, curriculum," I said. We didn't run. We didn't cry. We checked each other for breath the way trained people do without thinking. "I almost didn't recognize you," she said, stepping closer. And then she did, and we both laughed at the knot unwinding. She pressed something into my hand. A new index card, laminated. On it, the 4 words, a simple drawing of a person on their back, and a line at the bottom, used with permission in all 50 states. She pointed to the side. "Adapted from L. Pike, Harborview Pool Notes. I argued for your name," she said. "They wanted a committee list. I wanted a source." "Together," I said. "Together." she echoed. We stood by the curtain while a senator told a story about sandbags and hope. A screen showed kids practicing throws with towels, grandmothers teaching breath, a firefighter guiding a frightened dog onto a door used as a float. No music swelled, just a steady human chorus of counting aloud. 1, 2, 3. Roll to your back. Do you miss the after hours? She asked. I miss the listening, I said. But I like this part where we don't get fired. She laughed. Then she grew quiet in the way waves pause before deciding which shore to love. I kept the whistle because of you, she said. I built the chorus because of the kid I used to be. She touched the rubber band. I kept this because panic doesn't retire. It just learns new names. The stage manager flashed a 2-minute sign. June lifted the whistle to her lips, then stopped and held it in her hand instead. Blow it, I said. Not yet, she said. Tonight the quiet will carry farther. She walked on stage into a room full of strangers who had decided to become each other's lifeguards. She told the short truth. No heroics, just sequence and breath. She said, when water rises, we lower our voices. We give commands that sound like lullabies. Float first, breathe, then move, together. People wrote it down like a recipe their grandmother used to keep on the fridge. I watched from the wing, holding the index card she'd given me, noticing the detail I hadn't expected. Every instructor wore a blue whistle with one tiny chip painted on purpose. So no one would be precious about scuffing it when a real life needed saving. A curriculum with a scar, built to be used. When it ended, we didn't stage a reunion for cameras. We slipped out a side door to the museum's rooftop where the city lights made the sky look shallow. She set the whistle between us on the ledge. I'll give this back when I forget why we started, she said. You won't, I said. But I'll be here if you do. Below us, the river slid by like a long, honest sentence. Somewhere, in 1,000 gyms and church basements, people were practicing the quiet kind of rescue. No sermon, no banner, only hands learning to make a stranger float. Voices learning to count someone back into themselves. And a small chipped whistle resting silent in a pocket, waiting for the one moment when quiet is the loudest thing we have. Oh,